everyone, it's Jade here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. In today's video we're going to be carrying on with this colour along from Rita Berman. So I think we're going to go ahead and make a start on this one today. So I'll go ahead and zoom you in and we'll get started. So the first colour I'm going to go in with is Peony Pink, and I'm going to make a start on this canopy. So I'm going to start by going in and doing a really light base coat and getting some colour down. And you might be able to hear the birds in the background. I've got the door open today because it's unusually warm in England, which makes a change. So if they're a little bit noisy, I do apologise. So I'm going to go around all these little leaves and things on there. Next, going in with Fuchsia Pink, I'm going to start to add some shade to this. So I'm going to first start by darkening up all these little sections in between the leaves, because the leaves would be casting a bit of a shadow onto here. Next, I'm going to darken up under this pole here. And because the light's coming from this way, I'm going to start to add some shade over here. Then going back in with Peony Pink, I'm going to go ahead and fill that in. Then I'm going to go back in with Fuchsia and just go ahead and darken up the shadows a little bit more, because I really want these to stand out and be obvious. Next, taking Peony Pink, I'm going to make a start on the window frames. So I'm going to do a base coat on them. Then going back in with fuchsia, I'm going to start to add some shade to these. So I'm going to darken up here where they would be in shadow from the canopy. And then we'll also do the bottom edges, darken them up a little bit. So we'll do the same over here. I'm going to darken up this bottom edge to about halfway. Add a bit of shade to this top bit here. Then for these sections, I'm going to go ahead and darken up the left-hand side. And underneath the little frame. And then for this bit, we'll darken up either edge. Here we'll darken up the corners. Then I'm going to go back over that with peony pink and fill it all in. Next, going in with turquoise, I'm going to make a start on the door. So I want this to be like a nice greeny teal door. So I'm going to use light pressure and just do a very light base coat on this. Then taking deep teal, we're going to add some shade. So because I've done the light coming from this way, I'm going to darken up here where the window would be casting a bit of a shadow on the door. So again, I'm just using light pressure, just filling this section in here. I'm going to add a little bit of shade underneath the window. And down this edge here where the panel is. Just take it underneath slightly. Go ahead and darken up half of the doorstep. And then under here we would have some shade. So I'm just going to add some shade in from the canopy. I'm going to do a little bit more pressure at the top here. So this is the darkest part. Then I'm going to go back in with turquoise and I'm going to go over this to blend it all together. So anywhere we've put the deep teal, I'm just going to go over it with the turquoise, just using normal pressure. And then here as we come away, I'm just going to start to lift the pressure so that we get a nicer blend. Add a little bit more colour to here, but not too much. I want this to be the lightest part. And then going in with our white pencil, I'm going to go over this section where we've left the lightest colour, just to blend it together. Okay, and I quite like how that's looking with the pink and purple. So I think I'm going to do the shop front the same colour turquoise. So I'll do the same, go in with a light base coat all over. back in with deep teal to start adding some shade. So I think I'm going to shade all under here because this would all be a bit darker. But again, I'm just using light pressure. We'll go ahead and add some shade around the window frame. And again, we'll shade under the canopy. Now I'm just going to use a bit more pressure and just darken up right underneath the canopy, so that's the darkest part. And then just lift the pressure as you come away. And then again down here, I'm just going to add a little bit more pressure just to darken that up. Then I'm going to go back in with turquoise. And I'm going to go ahead and take that over everywhere we've put the dark blue, or the deep teal should I say, not dark blue. So for this section I'm using normal pressure because we want this to be darker on this side. Go ahead and go over all of the shading. And then lift the pressure as you come to this edge to blend it out nicely. Under here I'm going to do darker as well because this would be a little bit darker. And then I'm going to go in with the white and go over our little highlight here. Then taking fuchsia, our darker colour, we're going to go ahead and fill in these little half circles. Because as you can see, I've got a little bit of the teal colour on them. So this colour should just hide that and just fill these in for us. Okay, next taking periwinkle blue, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the glass. So I'm just going to use light pressure and just go ahead and fill in the glass sections. Obviously I'm going to go around the little signs and the cakes in this one. I'm going to go back in with peony pink and just fill in this little shelf here so that it all matches. And we're going to use peony pink to go ahead and fill in the little petals on this flower. And then I'm going to fill in these little sections here with the same colour. Taking lemon yellow, I'm going to fill in the middle of the flower. Then going back in with turquoise, I'm going to go ahead and do light pressure on this and fill it in. Then going back in with our white pencil, I'm going to go over the turquoise and blend it all out nicely. Next, taking jasmine yellow, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the little sign in the window. Then taking camel brown, I'm going to go ahead and add some shade to this side and the bottom edge just to darken it up a little bit. Next, I'm going to go in with pumpkin orange and I'm going to make a start on this cake here. It looks a little bit like jelly to me, so I've decided to do it bright orange. So I'm going to fill in this bottom section here with the pumpkin orange. I'm just going to use normal pressure and just fill this in. And then I'm going to fill in the little circle on the top and the little spikes coming off of it. Then I'm going to use lemon yellow and I'm going to go ahead and fill in the other little sections on here with lemon yellow so it's nice and bright. Next, taking honey, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the top of this cake. So it's like a nice golden colour. Could even be like a pie, couldn't it, I guess, like a pie crust. Then taking robin egg blue, I'm going to go ahead and fill in its little pie case. Next, taking carmine red, I'm going to fill in the little cherries on this cake here. And I'm going to add some red to these swirls. Next, going in with Flamingo Pink, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the missing parts of the swirls. And these little tiny circles here. We'll fill in between here as well. And the little icing on the top. Next, taking absinthe green, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the top part of the cake green. Then going in with lemon yellow, I'm going to fill in the middle section of the cake with the yellow. So it's like a little rainbow cake. Then taking orchid purple, we're going to fill in the bottom cake. Going back in with robin egg blue, I'm going to fill in the stand for this cake so that it matches the pie casing that we've got above it. Going back in with carmine red, I'm going to make a start on this little tree here. So I want to fill in these little bits in red so it almost looks like little berries on there. Then going in with absinthe green, I'm going to go ahead and add some green to our little tree. Then taking matcha green, I'm going to add some shade. And again, I'm going to shade on the right hand side. So I'm just going to go and darken up this section of the leafy part of the tree. Then going back in with robin egg blue, I'm going to do a light base coat on the pot itself. And then using a bit more pressure, I'm going to go ahead and add some shade to the right hand side. Just underneath the lip. Then going back in with our white pencil, we're going to go ahead and blend this out. Next, taking steel grey, I'm going to make a start on the floor here. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this in between all these little flowers. Then using koala grey, I'm going to add some shade to that. So I'm going to shade under this lip here, just to give that a little bit more definition. Do the same over here. Then I'll just darken up the one edge on both sides and leave the lighter colour in the middle. Do the same over here. And I'm just going to go back in with steel grey and just add a bit more colour here to get rid of this harsh line. So next, going in with pink macaroon, I'm going to go ahead and do a base coat on the sign itself, because I want this to be pink, but I want to have different coloured pinks in there. So I'm just going to do light pressure and go ahead and do a base coat on the actual big part of the sign. Then taking Flamingo Pink, I'm going to start to add some shade to this. So I'm going to darken up the right hand side like we've been doing. And pull this colour out. And again, I'm just using light pressure because I'm not 100% sure on the placement yet. So I want to make sure I've got it right. Okay, I think that looks quite good. So I'm going to start darkening up this side here where it would be the darkest and along the edge. And then lift the pressure as we come towards the blend line. Then we'll go back in with pink macaroon. Take it over from where we put the flamingo. So just use normal pressure now. And go ahead and fill this in. Then I'm going to go back in with fuchsia and fill in the little pieces around the edges. Next, going back in with turquoise, I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the turquoise section here on this outside edge. And then I'll use deep teal to fill in the little shadow bit here. And then we'll go back over that with the white. So that's that edge bit done. And we need fuchsia again to darken up this bottom section here. We'll go in with koala grey to do this darker section here. And then robin egg blue into that. Okay, next going in with absinthe green, I'm going to do a little bit of a green tinge to the background here. So I'm just going to use light pressure just so it looks like there's a bit of greenery in the background. Then I'm going to go over that with lime green. And then just take the lime green up a little bit further. Then I'm going to go in with sky blue, and I'm going to go right up to the lime green and just slightly over into the lime green as well. And I'm just using light pressure with this colour. I'm still using light pressure, but I'm just adding a little bit more colour. Then going back in with our white pencil, we're going to go ahead and burnish this and blend it all together. And I'm just going to go back in with absinthe green, and I'm just going to do really light pressure over this blend line here, just to dull that out a little bit so it doesn't look too harsh. Now we're going to go in with lime green, and I'm going to do a base coat on these leaves. So there's quite a few to do, so I'll probably speed this bit up for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill these in. Then taking matcha green, I'm going to add some shade to these. So I'm going to darken up this one in here because it would be in shadow from the flowers. And then just leave like the little tip bit a bit lighter. So I'm going to go ahead and add a bit of shade to the bottom on here. And the same for this one, just darken up the bottom. Next, taking honey, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the centres of the flowers. Then taking amethyst purple, I'm going to make a start on these flowers. So what I'm going to do is just do more pressure at the bottom here. So this is like the darkest, and then really lift the pressure as you come towards the end of the petals. So I'm going to do this for all of them. Next, taking periwinkle blue, I'm going to do the same thing but for the other flowers so that we've got different coloured flowers and they're not all the same. So I'm just going to darken up the bottom section and then lift the pressure as you come towards the top of the petals, the same as we did with the purple. Then for these ones, I'm going to go in with the base coat of the periwinkle. Then taking the amethyst purple, I'm going to go ahead and darken up the inside edges. And just add a little bit of shadow to these. Then going back in with our white pencil, I'm going to go ahead and go over these flowers. So just sort of fill in the ends with the white pencil. It will just blend the colour nicely out. And I'm just going to go back in with Robin Egg Blue and just add a little bit more blue right into the centre of these blue ones. Okay guys, next going in with our Posca pen, I'm going to go ahead and add the reflections onto the windows. So I'm just going to do some slanted lines just so that you can see there's a reflection. And I'm going to do the same for this one. So I'm going to take it across the cakes as well because they are behind the window. And it'll just give it that look like that they're behind the glass. I'm going to add a little highlight to this edge here, getting smaller as it goes towards the middle. I'm going to add some dots to the background. Then we'll add a highlight to this top edge of the sign. Do a little one here and a little one here. And I think that's all I'm going to do today. I'm not going to use too much Posca pen on there because I quite like how it's looking. I'm just going to go over this one because it looks like it's fading into the other colours. Just make sure it's nice and vibrant. Okay, and there you go, you guys. This is the next little picture completed. Okay, you guys, so that's how this little page is looking so far. So we've got that one, nice, bright and colourful, and then this side, which again is still quite colourful. So we've only got a couple left to do now, you guys, so you'll have to let me know which picture you want to do next or which book you want to do next. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.